Hello, everybody. Today we are going to talk about a question that is asked all the time. How do you channel? And a lot of people get frustrated and they give up instead of trusting in the process and continuing. So this is a, full loaded question because what may work with one person will not work with somebody else. So what works with me may not work with you. So you've got to find something that feels good with you and know that you are going the correct direction with channeling. And channeling can be very, very frustrating. And let me explain why. So, the first thing that you really need to do is how to clear your mind. And if you are a very busy person, you have children at home, you have you have work that you have to go to, and you're trying to balance your human life, it is very difficult to clear your mind. But it's also important, not only for channeling, but also for your mental health, is to be able to clear your mind. Because if your mind is constantly going, it's going to wear your system out and you're going to start getting ill. And I know a lot of people who continually get ill. You need to ask your question, why do I keep getting sick? Why, am I overstressing my body? So you need to clear your mind. Now, I do want to tell you one of my childhood stories about clearing your mind. So, whenever I was younger, I could not go to sleep because I kept thinking about things during the day, just like an adult does, but for childhood problems that you have at school. and I could not go to sleep. So my mother had a genius idea. She said, "You know what, Michelle? Find something that you can listen to so that it will help you drift off to sleep." Now we didn't have the headset. We, had those huge radios, so it wasn't very calming to turn on music for me. So my mother suggested a TikTok clock. And yes, I said it right, a TikTok clock. And I know not many people have these anymore, but just the ticking, it's almost like whenever you have a fan, it's making noise and it's on a consistent basis. Or what I really love to do now is listen to the shaman drumming. And because it's very consistency and it kind of goes, my brain has already been trained since childhood. So the clocks for me have really helped train my mind to come in and get my ego out of the way, because your ego is there for a reason. Your ego is trying to figure out things that happened that day to protect you, and that is a wonderful thing. But sometimes we need to get that ego out of the way so that you can calm your mind down and just, be gracious for that ego to help you. But sometimes it's time to kind of put that at rest. Now, another thing that you can do now, as long as you can drive, but whenever I drive by myself, that is when I consciously get information that I need. And whenever I was teaching school, before I would even get to the school that I was teaching at, I already had my lessons for the day. I knew what I was going to teach. I went, so it is so interesting how your creative mind works if you can get it very quiet and get that logical mind out of the way. Another thing that you can do is adult coloring. And I absolutely love this. Even in front of a TV, you're not really listening to the TV. Sometimes it's just background noise and you're coloring. And it's the same thing as doodling. And I absolutely, and I will let you know too, when I started mediumship or psychic readings, I would doodle, because that there again, it's getting your mind, your logical mind out of the way. Now, Tyler Henry, whenever he is a famous medium. Whenever he does his mediumship, he doodles. And again, that's getting your mind out of the way so that you can hear spirit and understand what spirit has to say. But right now, I'm just talking about an everyday channeling to get your creative mind going and to clear your mind. All right, so meditation. is another thing with breathing. Just doing those breathing exercises will clear the mind. That is so good for your mental health. And that's another way that I got started into channeling, is to meditate and calm that brain down. Now, you can start with guided meditation, because a lot of people go, I cannot quiet my mind. But you can do the guided meditation and gradually get away from that so that you're sitting in your own quietness. Exercise like yoga is excellent for your body and for your mind. Sometimes people will get their stress out of the way and they'll feel so much better. You get your endorphins going as well. And of course, music, especially if you're a teenager and you want to listen to that music now. So music can be very cleansing to your mind. So just an everyday channeling to be able to connect in with your higher self and to get that creative mind. If you are like an artist and you're trying to paint something and your mind is just so busy about your daily stuff, then you're not going to be able to get that creative JoJo going. So a lot of times to do some exercises like these before you start to paint will really help that creative mind just kick into gear. Now, another thing that you need to do for channeling to be a clear channel is to know yourself. If you are able to, this is always a good test. If you're able to be by yourself and not have somebody with you constantly, you know yourself. You like yourself. You like being yourself. So a lot of times it just means that you're able to understand yourself and get to know yourself. And it's okay if you are alone because you have that trust in yourself. So another thing that you need to do to know yourself is really look at that childhood trauma. Work on that childhood trauma. What have you gone through that you really need to work on? Because you need to have more positive thoughts in your mind to be a clear channel. So, and I know a lot of you don't like this, but journaling. So a lot of times, and this will also help channeling if you're connecting in with spirit or your higher self, is to be able to listen to music to clear the mind, then bring out your journal. And when you start hearing a voice in your head, write down whatever that voice is saying. And this is automatic writing. So a lot of times that is your soul speaking. It will be in your voice. And that's how I started as well, is I would write down what I was hearing. And if it's a positive message, you are headed in the right direction. It's very, you're opening up your heart chakra. But if it's very negative message, then it means that you really need to work on solving those problems. So surround yourself with positivity. So whenever you have friends that are, and I don't know who will understand this, like Negative Nancy. So on Saturday Night Live, there was a negative person that anything that was going on, celebrating something, there was Negative Nancy bringing everybody down. So it's nice to be around that positivity. Even at work, it's very difficult sometimes to find that positivity because there's a lot of negative going on. So find yourself during the day, be isolating yourself so you can find that positivity and so that you can bring up your energy. So whenever you start doing trance and conscious channeling, it is a little bit different than the basic channeling, an everyday channel. And sometimes people, instead of going to a psychic, they do the channeling so that they can get information from their higher self. Because the answers are within you, not outwardly. So whenever you do trance and conscious channeling, you need to set your intentions. Why do you want to do this? So before I do any type of trance channeling or conscious channeling, I always set the intention. I always connect in, I always say, I want to connect in. Please help me connect in with the other side. I want to connect in with my spirit guides. I want to connect in with God. I want to connect in with the angels, all positive energy. I want to connect in. I do not want to connect in with a negative energy. I want just positive energy that is helping the greater good and helping myself as well. And you also need to set, so that's how I connect in. And many times I clear my space because sometimes you will attract different energies that want to talk to you. And that's another thing that we'll talk about is your boundaries, but you got to set those boundaries of knowing where you want to who you want to connect to and why. I have spray, all right, that I love, and it smells so good. You can get angel spray, Florida water. It will clear the energy in the room. And it's just to me, it just kind of also grounds me and also centers me. And also incense is really good as well. Now, I will tell you, I've been having difficulty with sage. Sage is another thing that people do, but for some reason, it just does not do much for me. And so that's why I do a lot of more of the incense. So, but you do need to establish boundaries. And again, you're going with the greater good, and you're only connecting with the entities or the spirits that you want to connect in. If you only want God and the angels, make sure whoever comes in is a God or an angel. You also need to have a relationship with your spirit team. So many times I always say, please protect me. I want, the spirit team, open the door for only those people or the entities and spirits that need to be heard, or the message needs to be heard. So I actually have a good relationship with my spirit team and with God to only allow certain spirits in. Now, whenever Sarah came in, I was in very deep, deep meditation. All right. And when she came in, she said, I would love to use your body, use your vessel, so that I can get my message out to the world. And she asked permission. Okay. She said, will you do this? And I said, of course. And she said, and of course, I could actually see Jesus with her as well. So he was like supporting me, knowing that it was a very trusting situation, to have faith in it. So again, you need to establish those boundaries, whatever you are comfortable with. And let me tell you, another reason why you need to establish boundaries is because you won't trust the process. You will not open up, because that fear will come in, that logical mind will come in. And I know whenever I first started doing the channeling, I'd be going, okay, my mind's almost there, I'm going to do it. And then my logical mind would start talking. And of course, that interrupts the energy flow. so I've learned not to do that anymore. So know why you are doing this. Are you doing this for the greater good? Are you doing it for money? What are you doing? And you need to know where you are spiritually. Okay. So why are you channeling? What is the purpose of channeling different entities? Why is what you need to ask yourself. So then you need to figure out, well, how am I going to do this? What really feels good for me? So all the different strategies that you find, you need to figure out. Now, a lot of times, and what was very difficult for me was opening up my heart chakra. My heart chakra was closed because of all the fear I had. And so I did not trust in the process. I had a difficult time. I'm going, oh my gosh, these evil entities are going to come in. And as soon as my heart chakra opened and I said yes to the process, that's when things started happening. And of course, I didn't automatically do this conscious channeling. I first was a psychic, then I was a medium, or actually both at the same time. And it just seemed like my mediumship just kind of skyrocketed into more of having an entity come in for the trance channeling, where she's coming in and saying her message. Because when I did my mediumship, I was doing more of a mental mediumship, where I could kind of like automatic writing, where I could hear the voice of somebody who has crossed over and what they wanted to tell their loved one. And they also showed me pictures. Now, with my trance and conscious, and I'm saying both because I do both, okay? I'm still there whenever I'm doing the channeling. I'm consciously aware. But it's so interesting because Sarah will actually show me pictures of what story she's telling everybody, what message that she wants to tell everybody. And that really keeps me calm. And it also keeps me, I don't want to say entertained, but it does. And so I really, really enjoy that. And so whenever you do allow whoever wants to use your vessel to say their messages. You're trusting them. But another thing that I really do want you to know is you are in control. If you are not feeling good with this spirit, with this entity, you can say, I don't want to do this. I will not do it, because you are in control. Even if you do a channeling and you're right in the middle of the channeling, you can say, I no longer want to do this. Also, if you're not trusting in the process, and you're going, I don't like what the message is, then you don't need to be channeling, because to be a clear channeler, you need to believe in the message. You need to believe in what the spirit is trying to accomplish. You need to believe in it. Because if you don't believe in it, what happens is your logical mind starts looking into the information and saying, you know what, I'm having a difficult time with this. I don't want to continue. And I will tell you that happened to me, but I look deep into myself and I'm going, why am I having this problem? It's very positive. And what it is, it was coming from fear, things that I learned when I was growing up as a child. And then once I understood, then I'm going, oh, that is awesome. So I still wrote down the information. But later, it just, for some reason, that fear came in. But again, you've got to trust in the process. You need to understand what the message is. And again, if you don't feel comfortable with it, you are the one that can say, you know what, I don't want to do this at this time. Spirit has a way of communicating with you when you are ready and when you say yes. All right. So again, it is not a scary process. It's just something that will develop when you say yes to spirit. All right. So I believe that is everything that I wanted to talk about how to channel, because again, it's different for everybody. All right. So you can't just listen to somebody and hear how they channel and do it. And it may not work for you, but you don't give up. It's a little bit at a time, and trust in spirit and know whenever the time is right, it will happen. All right. So I know that y'all love cards. So let's think about numbers 1, 2, or 3. Which card or what number are you being pulled today? Now, if you're being pulled for all of them, then go ahead and take all of them. Okay. That's the fun way to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and look at these cards. So, okay. So this is number 1. All right, Dragonfly, live life to the fullest. So you are the one that is in control of your life, and you go where your intuitiveness and where your heart is and where your creativity goes, because all of this spiritual stuff is very creative. All right, and dragonflies like to fly like this, not in a straight flow. All right. Moving forward, get ready for positive changes. So whenever you say yes to yourself, you know yourself. You're moving forward. You're knowing, these positive changes, because everything changes for a reason. Not everything stays the same, because we don't learn from that. All right. So number 3 is sensuality. Express it. So find that feminine in you, also that masculinity in you, and express it, because that is where your heart is. And just let everybody know who you are. And with that, I always love to think of a hippie, okay, in the 60s, where they were so carefree and they were just feeling the energy and whatever, man. And so to me, that it's kind of like that. It's kind of allowing you to be you, and that you can find that and express it. All right, everybody, I hope that you learned from this. And if you need help, if you have a question, please put it in the comment section. Also, if you need a discovery call, I can get on Zoom with you and answer any questions that you have. If you want that, then put discovery in the comment section and DM me, and I will get back with you. All right, everybody, thanks so much. Have a wonderful day, and What are you creative? What do you love to do to show everybody who you are? And how do you get that creativity shown? All right, everybody. Thank you so much.